everyone, it's Jennifer from Fiberflux. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this really cute T-shirt yarn headband. This is a super easy project. It's a great project if you're learning how to crochet or just want to whip up something really quick. And it's made with T-shirt yarn, and I'm going to show you, give you a link of how to make the yarn if you want. Or you can purchase it in a store if you prefer to do that. And this is a really fun pattern too for warm weather, and you can make it to keep your hair out of your face while you're at the beach or at the pool or something like that. And all it is a 2-round headband, and then we have a little 1-round flower as an option if you want to add that to your headband. For this project, you're going to need a 10mm P crochet hook, a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle that's large enough to accommodate the T-shirt yarn in the eye of the needle because it's pretty thick. And as an option, you might also want to use a tape measure to measure the circumference of the head as you begin your project. And finally, you'll need some T-shirt yarn. I want to talk a minute about this. Here is some T-shirt yarn that I've made on my own. I've just upcycled it from some t-shirts that I had. And I'm going to provide a link in this video. It appears up in the upper right-hand corner. It's a little circle with an eye in it. You can click on that and watch the video on how to make this t-shirt yarn. It's really fun and easy. And I'm going to use 3 colors. I have like a lime green, a bright blue, and a purple. However, you can use any colors you like, and t-shirt yarn also looks neat when you use printed jersey fabrics as well. You can also find this type of yarn in the craft store or online if you don't want to make your own yarn. It's totally up to you. There are some commercial t-shirt or fabric-y type of yarns available that you could use as well. So let's get started. We're going to begin by making a chain that's the same size as the circumference of the head. I've grabbed my trusty foam head here, and as a side note, I decorated mine a little bit. I decoupaged it, and there is a video on how to do this as well that I'll provide the link to in case you're wondering. But anyway, I'm going to use my foam head to just measure my chain. You're just going to make it around the circumference of the head. So I'm going to just put this aside for a second. And our yarn, we're just going to unravel it, and then we're going to put a slip knot on our hook. So we're just making a long chain here. Okay, so just take the yarn in your fingers, wrap it around your finger, bring it behind this strand, behind the loop, reach in with your crochet hook and bring up a loop, excuse me. Okay, so then what you're going to do is just make a bunch of chains, again, the circumference of the person who will be wearing its head. So whether it's your head or someone else's, you can measure ahead of time, or you can just kind of, what I'm going to do is just make a long chain and then just test it out. Okay, so to make a chain, wrap yarn around hook and bring it through the loop. Now this yarn is very bulky, so just take your time with it. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and make a bunch of chains, just like that, until it is the circumference of our foam head over here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we'll rejoin in just a moment once we have the required number of chains. Okay, so I went ahead and made my chains. So let me just get this gigantic head out of the way. And for this particular head circumference, it was 35 chains. But again, you'll want to customize it to the size of your own head. So what we're going to do in the chain that's farthest from the hook, all the way down at the end here, the first chain we made, we're going to join. So insert your hook into that chain, and then we're going to do this with a slip stitch. So wrap the yarn around the hook, bring it through the loop. You'll have 2 loops on your hook. Now bring that loop through the loop already on your hook. So you have 1 hook on there. Okay, next we're going to begin our first round. So for round 1, and see this tail here? Just tighten it a little. I'm going to weave this in as I go. So as I'm working my stitches into this chain, I'm going to incorporate this tail, and that'll save you a little step at the end. Okay, so what you're going to do is chain 1. Then into this first stitch, you're going to work a single crochet. So insert the hook, bring up a loop, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through both loops, just like that. So we're just going to do that in each chain all the way around our headband. So work single crochet in each. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this, and then we can rejoin towards the end of this round. So again, we're just working a single crochet in each stitch, each chain all the way around. So we're coming up to the end of the round. So I'm just going to join where we began with a slip stitch. So insert your hook into that first chain that you made at the beginning of the round, bring up a loop, bring that loop through the loop already on your hook. So our first round, we just made a single crochet in each of the chains all the way around and then joined with a slip stitch. So what we're going to do now is switch to our next color, which we're going to do green, and then later we'll add the purple flower. So just cut the yarn, and then you can save the rest of this for another project, and then go ahead and fasten off, just like that. Now at this point, I like to just double check and bring our foam head back here. And I just want to slip this on just to make sure it's that nice fit. You want it to have a snug fit, but not a tight fit. Okay, so it's looking pretty good. Okay, so let's come back to our green yarn and we'll begin round 2. So what we're going to do is we have a tail here, and we're going to weave that in as we go along, just like we did before. So what you want to do is insert your hook into the stitch, bring up the new yarn, and we're just going to tie that right on. T-shirt yarn is pretty thick and bulky, as you can see, and we're working with a very large hook. So we're keeping the stitches simple to make it easier on ourselves with working with bulky yarn like this. So we're just going to tie this right on, and then we can weave these ends in as we work round 2 of our headband. So just grab the working yarn. When I say working yarn, that's attached to the yarn ball. And then we're going to move our scissors. Then we're going to take our hook, reinsert it back into that stitch, and chain 1. That'll kind of push this knot out of the way. See what I did? I kind of pushed it back into that hole so it's not up against the head. Okay, so just chain 1, and then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to work a single crochet in each stitch all the way around our headband. Okay, so in that first stitch, and we're incorporating the tails, just hold them along the edge as you work. Just work a single crochet, just like that. So our headband will have a pretty color block effect. Okay, so we're just going to work a single crochet all the way around our headband, just like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and work a single crochet all the way around, and then we'll rejoin towards the end of the round, and I'll show you how to join that round as well. Okay, so we're just coming up to the end of the round, and again, we just worked a single crochet in each stitch all the way around our headband. So just work your last stitch, and then where we began, just join with a slip stitch, the same exact way we did on the blue round. Okay, so then you can take your scissors and cut the yarn, put that aside, and then just go ahead and fasten off the green or whatever color you're doing. Okay, you can just kind of straighten things out because this is bulky. We want to just get everything nice and flat. There we go. So our headband is complete. Now, if you want your headband to be a little bit wider, go ahead and add more rounds. I'm just going to make mine 2 rounds, but feel free to definitely make yours wider. Or if you just like the width of the blue round, feel free to customize it however you like. So we're just going to turn our headband inside out, and I grabbed my tapestry needle and just threaded it. Then we're going to go in one direction. Just stay in the green section with the green yarn so that it doesn't show through. And this yarn is very, the way it's constructed when you make your T-shirt yarn, it's kind of tubular because the jersey knit material will curl, because jersey knit material, if you're a knitter, is stockinette stitch, so it curls. So when you're weaving your ends, it makes a little bit tricky because it's a tube essentially. So you can kind of get your needle stuck. Just kind of wiggle it in there the best you can. It's a little bit fiddly with the tube trying to pull this through, but it'll come through eventually. There we go. Okay, so we're just going to trim our tail that we just wove in, turn it right side out, get everything nice and straight. Okay, so the headband portion of our project is complete. Now you can just leave your headband as is and just wear it like that, or you can add a flower, and I'm going to show you how to do it. This is a very quick and easy flower. So all we're going to do is take our hook. We can move our tools aside. Take our hook, and we're going to just make a quick 1 round flower, and then I'll show you how to sew it on. Okay, so put a slip knot on your hook, and then chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. In the chain farthest from our hook, we're going to join with a slip stitch to make a ring. Same way we did with our headband, we're just making a smaller ring. Okay, then you can kind of open that up a little bit. If you prefer the magic ring method of working in the round, definitely do that. I wanted my flower to have a little bit more of an open center, so I'm going to do the starting chain method like we just did. But definitely, if you like the magic ring, you can totally do that instead. Okay, so our flower, it has 5 petals, so we're going to make 5 petals. So to make the first petal, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Then work a double crochet into the center of the ring. Wrap yarn around hook, insert it into the center of the ring, bring up a loop. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the last 2 loops. Then we're going to work a slip stitch into the center of the ring. And I want to point out too, this tail here, I've been holding along the edge as I work. That will weave that in. So we're going to make a slip stitch to separate the petals. So bring up a loop, then bring that loop through the loop already on your hook. Okay, our first petal is complete. So for the remaining petals, because we did a chain 3 at the beginning, that counted as one of our double crochets. But for the remaining petals, each petal is going to be 2 double crochets, then a slip stitch in between. So work double crochet, and this is my plastic hook is making this extra squeaky today. Okay, so we're just going to slide that over to give ourselves some space. So that was 1 double crochet, then another double crochet. You can push that aside if you need to. Then work a slip stitch. Just push that over. Then work 2 double crochet. That's 1, and 2, slide everything over if you need to, work a slip stitch. So let's stop for just a second and just look at our progress. Get this tail out of the way. Still weaving that in as we go. We're going to pull that tail a little bit, and that's going to close this hole a little bit, but it'll still remain. So we have 3 petals, just to show you our progress. Okay, so we worked our slip stitch. Let's make the 4th petal. 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, there we go. Push everything over if you need to, and a slip stitch to separate. Okay, let's do the last petal. We have 4 petals completed. We're going to do the very last petal. If you want to make a 6-petaled flower, feel free to do that if you want to. Just add another one on there before you fasten off. Okay, so 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, there we go, and then push that over if you need to. Work a slip stitch into the center to round that petal off, and then we're going to join with another slip stitch to close our round. So we made 1 slip stitch to round off the petal, and then another slip stitch to close the round. Okay, so we have to straighten this out quite a bit just because it's a little, when you work your stitches, sometimes it crumples up a little bit with the yarn. So we're just going to fasten off. We're going to cut the yarn and then go ahead and fasten it off, and then we'll get our flower all straightened out. Okay, just fasten that off. Now the little tail that we've been weaving along as we went, you can just pull that tight. And again, this flower has a little bit of an open center, and I think that'll look pretty when we attach it because it'll pick up some of this color from our headband. Okay, so just get all those, we worked lots and lots of stitches into the center here. So just get everything nice and straight. Get all those petals, you can kind of define those a little bit by kind of pinching the petal like that. Okay, so then you're going to take your tapestry needle, flip your flower over to the back, and you're going to weave it in, but not all the way. So just take the strand and just take it towards the center. See that, how I just did that? And then you can use this tail to sew your flower on. So flip it back over to the right side, and then grab your headband, and then you can you just need a few stitches. So figure out where you want it to be on your headband, and then just a few stitches is all it takes. And because you're just using the tail, your yarn already matches, so you don't have to worry about cutting a matching piece of yarn or anything like that. So I'm getting mine positioned on here. And then just come up from the back to the front with that. And just a few, just to tack it right on there. And again, what I mentioned before about the tubular nature of this yarn, you might have to work the tapestry needle in a little bit. Okay, so just a few well-placed stitches is all it takes. So the flower is nice and secure on our headband, so we can just weave that last end in. Just get it just out of the way there. And again, this is sometimes a little fiddly to try and weave these ends. Okay, so then we have, this is another one we can trim back. Okay, and we can get that end trimmed in, just like that. And our headband is complete. So we can try it on the foam head just to make sure it fits. And it looks very cute little summer accessory. So that is how you crochet a T-shirt yarn headband. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure and click the subscribe button to get all the latest Fiberflux video updates. Thanks again!